Good morning. Today my lecture is the classes, powers, appeal, revision and review of revenue officer under the Himachal Pradesh Land Revenue Act 1954. And what is the meaning of revenue officer? The Himachal Pradesh Land Revenue Act was made in 1954 and the extent of this act extend to the whole districts of Himachal Pradesh. The act tells about the different topics covered under the act which is used by the revenue officer. We will discuss the meaning of revenue officer, the powers and the functions of revenue officer, classes and appointment of the revenue officer, and duties of the revenue officer, and these powers and duties of the land revenue officer or powers and duties of the revenue officer. There are the four classes of the revenue officer. Number one, financial commissioner. Number two, the commissioner. Number three, the collector. Number four, the assistant collector of the first class. And last one, the assistant collector of second class. According to the definition, the state government appoints the revenue officer. A revenue officer is an individual who is appointed by the state government to collect the revenue like tax or duties on behalf of the state government. He must use the powers and functions which are given to him by the act. There are following classes of the revenue officer given under section 7 of this act. These are financial commissioner, the collector, the assistant collector of the first grade, and the assistant collector of the second class. Finance commissioner. The finance commissioner is the head of the revenue administration in the state. The jurisdiction of finance commissioner extend to the whole of the Himachal Pradesh. The state government appoints the finance commissioner in the state. And in the matter of the revenue office revenues, there can be one or more finance commissioner in the state as per the direction of the state government. The deputy commissioner of a district shall be the collector thereof. The state government may appoint any assistant commissioner or tahsildar to be an assistant collector of the first or of the second grade as it think fit, and any naib tahsildar to be an assistant collector of the second grade. Appointment under subsection 3 shall be by notification and may be of a person specifically by name or by virtue of his office or of more persons than one by any description sufficient for their identification. And clause 5 of section 7, subject to the provision of this act, the jurisdiction of the finance commissioner extend to the whole of the Himachal Pradesh and of the commissioner and of the collectors and the assistant collectors to the divisions and district respectively, in which they are for the time being employed. The commissioner, section 9 of the act deals with the appointment of commissioner. The act provides that there shall be one or more than one commissioner in the state. The act provides that the state government shall appoint the deputy commissioners, assistant commissioner, and extra assistant commissioner. Next one, the collector. And who is in collector? The deputy commissioner of the district shall be recognized as the collector, as a revenue officer to collect the revenue. The state government appoints the collector and he exercises the jurisdiction over the district, and he is also responsible to do the various functions as specified by the state government. Now next one, the assistant collector, yeah, which is the first class, and assistant collector of the second class. The assistant collector of first class is known as the Tahsildar, and the assistant collector, yeah, second class is known as the Naib Tahsildar. The state government may appoint the assistant collector of the first class and the second class through the notification. They may use the power as given under the act. They can enjoy their power within the limits of the district in which they are employed. And what are the powers of the revenue officer? As earlier discussed, there is 5 classes of the revenue officer: the finance commissioner, the collector, assistant collector of first class and second class, which are in section 7 is provided. The DC of a district is by his office is become a collector as a revenue officer to collect the revenue, who is transferred from one district to another district to retain the powers with which he was invested in the former district. And there are many matters on which the finance commissioner is empowered by the act to make rules, but these do not take effect until they have been sanctioned by the state government. There are several executive proceedings regarding which is special order required. And what are the powers of the commissioner? While the Land Revenue and Inclination Acts give sufficient force of general control on commissioner, there is no specific issue which they can lawfully manage on their drive, or for not many exemptions that deals of enduring property for the recuperations of unfulfilled obligations are not finished will they have gotten the affirmation of the commissioner. And what are the powers of the collector? There are various functions of the collector, and collector, but we know collector is the deputy commissioner of the district. And as for the functions of the collector, he is the recorder of the agricultural statics. He is guardian and registrar of the soil, which is being enjoyed by the private person. As a collector of the land revenue, yeah, it can be said that to collect the revenue from the people. As the promoter of the improvement and stability and the landed property. या custodian of the state property, या act as a judge in a case between the landlord and tenant. And what is the administrative control? Section 12 defines the administrative control in the revenue department. Number one, the finance commissioners shall be subject to the control of the state government. Number two, the general superintendence and control over all other revenue officers shall be vested in, and all such officers shall be subordinate to the finance commissioner. Subject to the general superintendence and control of the finance commissioner, a commissioner shall control all other revenue officer in his division. And subject has aforesaid and to the control of the commissioner, a collector shall control all other revenue officer in his district. Then appeal, review and revision under Land Revenue Act. In every case, appeal goes to the highest authority. The appeal, review and revision under Land Revenue Act play the major role to provide justice. Sometimes it is noticed that the court passed the order against the plaintiff, but after apply for appeal, review and revision, the chance are there to get the justice. The Land Revenue Act gives the power to the revenue officer to deal with the cases which are related to the appeal, review and revision. The procedure provided by the Act for appeal, review and revision is very clear and simple. There are the classes of the revenue officer given under the Act which are discussed earlier. Section 14 of the Himachal Pradesh Land Revenue Act deals with the procedure to file the appeal. Section 14 says that appeal lies directly to collector against the original order which is passed by the assistant collector of either first class or second class. And there is no provision given under the Act that the assistant collector of the first class has the power to deal with the appeal against the original order of the assistant collector of the second class. Similarly, the orders passed by the collector are appealable to the commissioner, and the original orders passed by the commissioner are appealable to the financial commissioner of the state. Section 14 also provides some restriction to the appeal. The provided part of the section said that when the original orders are conferred by the officer are conferred by the officer who has the power to deal with the first appeal, on the first appeal the person cannot go for the second appeal. For example, when the appeals comes to the collector against the original order of the assistant collector of either class, if the collector passed the same orders, the person who had filed the appeal has no remedy lie to go for the second appeal. And also when the appeals comes to the commissioner against the original order of the collector, if commissioner passed the same order the person cannot file the next appeal to the finance commissioner. The section 14 further provides that if the order is reversed or modified in the first appeal lies to the collector, the person can file the appeal to the commissioner in some cases. But the decision made by the commissioner will be final and no further appeal will lie to any revenue officer. And what is the period of limitation for an appeal? Number one, when appeal lies from the order of the assistant collector to the collector, that is the 30 days. Number two, when appeal lies from the order of the collector to the commissioner, that is the 60 days. And number three, the appeal lies from the orders of the commissioner to the finance commissioner, that is the 90 days. And what is the procedure of review? Section 16 of the Himachal Pradesh Land Revenue Act deals with the procedure of review. All grades of revenue officers possesses the power to review their order or the order passed by their predecessors. He can review in his motion or by applying either party interested. And what is the procedure of section 16? It provides that when the collector or commissioner thinks that it is necessary to review any decision which is not passed by him, he shall obtain the prior sanction from the higher revenue officer. In the case of assistant collector of either class, if he wants to review the if he wants to review his order, yeah, any decision made by his predecessors, he shall first obtain permission from the revenue officer to whose control he is immediate subject. The application must be within the time of 90 days from the date of the passing of the order. The application will not be entertained after the expiry of 90 days unless the applicant satisfies that the revenue officer with sufficient reason not making the application within the 90 days. The revenue officer has to send the prior reasonable notice to the parties if any decision is being modified or reversed. The order cannot be a review where the appeal has been preferred. An appeal shall not be live for the order refusing to review and confirming on review a previous order. And what is the provision of revision? Section 17 of the Himachal Pradesh Land Revenue Act deals with the procedure of the revision. The Finance Commission can exercise the power of revision at any time in respect of pending proceeding and disposed of proceeding by the revenue officer. About the revision powers of collector and commissioner, both can call for the record of any case, whether the case is pending or disposed of by the revenue officer, coordinate to him if he think that the proceedings or orders should be modified or reversed. He shall report the matter to the finance commissioner. So in this regard, the finance commissioner will allow the person to be heard before deciding the decision who is adversely affected by the order. Thank you.